Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and in this video I'm going to be quilting some large quilt blocks and making pillow covers out of them. Now I've done one video before where I showed you how I made the envelope pillow covers using a square that was cut out of a panel. This time I'm going to be quilting the project and then making the panel with that. So I hope you stay with me and I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go from point to point on the petals. And then I'm just going to stitch in the ditch to get to the next point. And then come on out to the last point and move my clamp out of the way. I didn't quite hit the tip there, but it'll be all right. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a square or an outline. And that's it for that part of the block. And now for the background, get the threads trimmed. I'm going to just do some more outline quilting here. And I'm just continuing this over. I'm not stopping and starting in these squares because I'm having a little jog here. I don't think that's a problem. It doesn't bother me. If that does bother you, then of course you'll want to do it differently, but that doesn't bother me. Okay, and I'm keeping this light because it is a pillow. It doesn't need to be quilted to death, and this is just a pillow cover. Now I could just leave these plain and not do anything, these big squares, but I'm going to go ahead and do some cross hatching in them. So I'm going to get a longer ruler, and I'm just going to go from point to point to begin with and see how this works. Thing is, I don't have much space up here because I've got this, once again I'm using scraps and I had limited amount of fabric, so I needed to put this up kind of close. So okay, on this block I have my starting line quilted already, just going from one side to the next, and I'm just going to go ahead and finish out all the cross hatching in one direction first, and then we'll go to the other. Now I have a ruler that has markings on it that I can use. They go up to 1 inch, so I just have to line up my 1 inch mark with that quilting line, and then I can just quilt. Now if you are doing this on your domestic machine or even on the long arm, you may want to go ahead and pre-mark that. That works really well. I don't think I have enough room here to put in another line. I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and just go up here. And then move across another inch. And let's move over this direction an inch. And we'll come down. I need to get to the 1 inch mark going this direction. And this is a kind of a tricky spot here with the ruler. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that is done. Just got 2 more background blocks to do, and then I have to do the center. I think I'm just going to do a square and a square here instead of all of this cross hatching. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go from corner to corner. I got to get back and do that, don't I? Okay, we're going to go from corner to corner. And right here is the center. And I want to go to the center on the other side. And you can measure that. I can measure that to get more precise. I'm kind of going by the cross hatching that I have here, and looks like I am almost exactly perfect, so that's good. That's a good spot, and the 3 inch mark is there, so I see where I need to go. This is a 6 inch square, so I'm going for the 3 inch mark, and right in the middle there. And I can mark this with a marking tool of some kind too. But I'm basically just not filling in as much, doing as heavy of quilting in there as I had been doing in the background squares, the alternate squares that surround that. So and then just come to the corner, and then just tie off. So that will take care of the pillow top. I've got a couple of quilting lines that I missed down here on my cross hatching I got to pick up, and then I'll be ready to take off and trim, and then sew into a pillow. Now I have another block here to quilt, and this one we have a great big center and some large triangles, and then we have the flowers here. So I think I'm going to do quite a bit what I did with quite a bit of the same that I did with the previous block, and I've got that block is still on the machine. I've got it rolled up here. I just added an extra piece of batting, and it's the same. It's an 80-20 batting. I think it's a different brand because it's just a slightly different color. But I'm going to do the same with the points on the flowers here, or the star blocks. I'm going to go from point to point, put it on automatic and go point to point. And stitch in the ditch to get to the next point. Got a fuzz there. Okay, so that's all that those need. I'm going to go ahead and do some outline quilting here. And just carry it on to the next one. And then come over to the point and then do that sewing. I'm going to show you on this. I'm just going to do the same outline quilting here, and then on the squares. And then just sneak out there, come around, and then get these. Then I'll come back over and get these over here that I missed. I'm going to do a couple of lines of quilting in here, and I'll do some cross hatching in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1/4 inch away. And then I'm gonna do a 1/2 inch here. So that would be 1/4, so this should be a 1/2. And right here I just have to kind of guess where the 1/2 inch mark is, which looks like I got it pretty well. And go back in, do another 1/2 inch. I'm working in tight quarters here, so it's a little difficult because of that. So now I need to find my 1/2 inch mark, or my halfway mark. So just going from point to point so I can see where I need to go. And I've got a washable marker here. So I'll mark it on both sides. And then do the same going this direction. Okay, and that will come out with water, so I don't need to worry about that. So I'm going to come down to the center and just go from mark to mark now. Now I'm going to finish going around stitching in the ditch. This side's already ditched, so I don't need to worry about that. And this is ditched to a point, but I need to carry it up all the way. And then need a ditch across here. Okay, now I could go ahead and ditch right here, but we've got quilting on both sides of that, so I'm just going to let that go. And now this pillow top is done, and that's all I want to do on this one. So I just need to cut all of my threads, and now they're ready to trim up, and then I can sew the backs of these pillow covers. Okay, now here's my finished pillow top, and I think it turned out really well. Now I measured this after I trimmed it, and it measures 17 3/4 inches square. So it started out as an 18.5 inch block, so you can tell how much that shrunk up with the quilting in it. And I cut 2 pieces of fabric, and they are 17 3/4 wide by 13 inches long, or 17 3/4 long by 13 inches wide, however you want to look at that. And now I'm going to press under the edges and make hems, and I'm going to do that on the 17 inch side on both of these. Now there are lots of ways to make an envelope back, and this is just one of them. And I have a seam gauge here, and I'm going to slide my slider to a 1/2 inch mark. And this is an old one. It's got a metal slider on it. The newer ones have plastic. So this was either my mother's or my mother-in-law's, or it might have been my first one. I don't know. They're all kind of all mixed up together. So I'm just going to use that gauge to help me determine how much I need to fold this, to measure it as I go. And get the fabric to cooperate with me. Okay, so I'm going to do that to both, and I'll do that other one here in a minute. Next thing I'm going to do is to tuck this in, meeting the crease, just like that. And I'm going to press that. So I'll have a 1/4 inch hem here, and then I will stitch that down on my sewing machine. Now I do have another video where I made some pillow cases for a friend, and it's the same, pretty much the same method. And I will link that in an iCard or in the video description below. So I'll do it the same on this side. Okay, so now I'm going to head to the sewing machine and sew those down. Put my embroidery foot on. You can use just a regular foot. This one has a clear foot on, which I like, so I'm going to use this one. Okay, I'm just going to sew this down. I've got white thread in here. Let me switch. Okay, now I'm ready to go. And I'm going to leave my stitch at 2.5 on this, and just going to stitch close to the fold. Okay, the thing is, that works just fine. I couldn't get as close to the folded edges as I wanted, because this foot has a channel underneath it here, and it's just wide enough for this seam to go through, this hem to go through, and it wanted to keep it in there. So I'm going to switch back to my 1/4 inch foot so I can control it better where I want it to go. Okay, so I'll put that one aside and work on this one. Okay, this one is a lot closer to the edge where I wanted it to be. So happier with that. So I'm just right on the edge here as opposed to being kind of in the middle of the hem. But anyway, these are done. So now I need to do some pinning. So I have the block here, and I'm going to put these right sides together. And I'm going to start with one side. Like that. And I'm just going to pin this in place. So I've got my 1/4 inch presser foot on, and I'm going to increase the stitch length to 3.0 since I'm going through so many layers here. Now I'm going to flip this over and go with the quilt up, because as I'm sewing this way, I've got a little bit of a pucker right there, but it was pushing the fabric down, so I want it to do the same thing here. If it's going to push this side, I want it to go ahead and push that side. And so let's go ahead and let's see, I'm going to go ahead and take that pin out. Let's go ahead and overstitch here. I could do one more stitch. There we go. Okay, I've gotten all the way around. This side looks good. Just trim threads, and then I'm going to trim the corners. Okay, so I'm just going to trim straight across here. Just be careful not to cut into the stitching. Okay, now I'm going to get my pillow form, turn this inside out, and then put the pillow inside it. Okay, here's my pillow form. I picked this up today. This is from Joann's, and it is a Fairfield Polyfill Basic Pillow Insert. This is an 18-inch. They were having a sale, buy two, get two free, so I picked up two 18-inch and two 16-inch. They have two lines. This is the basic. They also have a premium, so whichever one you want. I picked this one up because it felt a little firmer. The other one was a softer pillow, and I wanted something firm, so I got this one. So I just need to turn my pillow form out, so I'm just going to reach in and just pull the quilted part out. If you want to, you can press this. I think I'm just going to let it go. I don't think I need to press it, but we'll see once I get it all turned out. And I will work on those corners here in a minute to get them looking a little nicer. But anyway, okay, there's the back of the form. And there's the front, and I'm going to get my point turner tool and just work on these points a little bit. And they're not going to be completely pointed because of you know, it being quilted. You know, it's not going to be completely squared off because there's a lot of fabric there in those corners, but I can work on them, get them looking a little sharper. And the last one, this one already looks pretty good. Okay, so we're ready to go. So I'm just going to lay that down and just stuff the pillow in. Now it's got a big label on it that you can remove if you want. Okay, got that end in. Now I got to just grab the other one and pull it. Okay. And if you want, sometimes it's easier to fold the pillow in half. So you can play around with that to get it looking exactly the way you want it. I have to tell you, these labels crunching away in there. I probably should have just cut it off, but I didn't. Okay, so here is my completed pillow. So I think that was a fun project. I just need to put the backing on the other block and put its pillow inside it, and then that one will be all ready too. And now I have a couple of new pillows for my living room couch. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.